A very good morning. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. I'm Smriti Rastogi with breakfast news. In the next 30 minutes, we will get you all the latest developments from national, international and sports front. But before all those details, a quick look at the top headlines. Militants kill 6 cops in Jammu and Kashmir's Anantnag, disfigure their faces with bullets. Lashkar-e-Taiba claims responsibility. Aadhaar made mandatory for opening bank account. Transactions above 50,000 rupees. Account holders must submit Aadhaar to banks by 31st December this year. Switzerland ratifies automatic information sharing with India on financial accounts. Move for immediate sharing of details about suspected black money. India rejects Pakistan's new twist to Jadhav case at UN court. MEA says India never wanted certain timeline to file plea. Hearing to start from January next year. And Donald Trump partially rolls back Obama's Cuba thaw. New policy to tighten travel rules and funding to Caribbean island nation. The situation in Kashmir remains grave with the latest attack by the militants on the police party in Achabal in Anantnag district of South Kashmir on Friday. 6 policemen, including a sub-inspector, fell victim to indiscriminate firing from militants. The militants reportedly disfigured the faces of the 6 slain cops before walking away with their weapons. According to the police, Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba is believed to be behind the attack. In another development, security forces allegedly opened fire at stone-pelting protesters to keep them from interfering in the encounter with the 3 hold-up Lashkar-e-Taiba militants in Anantnag. In the process, 2 civilians were killed and 10 others were injured. The security forces also gunned down a militant. Also, clashes rocked various parts of the valley, including Jamia Masjid in downtown Srinagar, Tral, Pampur, Pulwama town and Anantnag in South Kashmir, Hajrin in Bandipora and Sopore in Baramulla in North Kashmir. The police detained JKLF chairman Mohammad Yasin Malik. Meanwhile, Pakistan again violated the ceasefire by firing on forward posts along the line of control in Rajouri district of Jammu and Kashmir, killing a Jawan. There have been 6 ceasefire violations in the past 3 days and a total 17 along the line of control and the international border in Jammu region since June 1st. The government has made Aadhaar card mandatory for opening of bank accounts and financial transactions of 50,000 rupees and above. According to the notification issued by the Revenue Department, all existing bank account holders have also been asked to submit Aadhaar to banks by 31st of December this year, failing which their accounts will become invalid. Until now, it was mandatory to provide PAN number or Form 60 to banks while opening of accounts or for high-value transactions. But the new notification amending the Prevention of Money Laundering Act mandates quoting of Aadhaar along with the PAN for individuals. Meanwhile, rules for small accounts which can have maximum deposit of 50,000 rupees have also been tightened. Under a new amendment, such accounts can be opened only at the bank branches which have core banking solution. The government in the budget had already mandated sealing of Aadhaar number with permanent account number to avoid individuals using multiple PANs to evade taxes. International Court of Justice has asked India to submit its documents in Kulbhushan Jadhav case by 13th of September this year. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Gopal Bagle said India had urged the ICJ for an early hearing of the case during the 8th June sitting, which was called to decide procedural issues. Pakistan will also get 3 months to rebut the Indian version and has been given 13th December deadline to file counter memorial. The hearings of the case would be scheduled after this procedure and is likely to begin in January next year. MEA also rejected Pakistan's claim that India's request seeking more time in the case was rejected by ICJ. Bagle said that India had sought 4 months and had got time, with the court fixing the deadline in September. India approached the International Court against the death sentence of Jadhav in May, describing the espionage charges against him as concocted and his trial as farcical. In its first hearing on May 18th, the ICJ had restrained Pakistan from executing Jadhav.
We submitted to the court for an early and expeditious proceedings in the matter, and we also pointed out a precedence of the Avina case, where 4 months had been given to the to one of the parties to submit its pleadings, called the memorial in the terminology used. So after our submission and also submission by Pakistan in the regard to the timelines, the court has directed India to submit its memorial to, and I'm using the term used I think in the context of the court proceedings. The court has directed India to file its memorial in September 2017.
On to some more news. Switzerland on Friday ratified automatic exchange of financial account information with India and 40 other countries. The move is to facilitate sharing of details about suspected black money. Switzerland has sought strict adherence to confidentiality and data security. The Swiss Federal Council said that the implementation is planned for 2018 and the first set of data should be exchanged in 2019. The Council, which is the top governing body of the European nation, will soon notify the Indian government about the exact date from which the automatic exchange would begin. As per the draft notification approved by the Council in its meeting on Friday, the decision is not subject to any referendum, which means there should be no further procedural delay in its implementation. The issue of black money has been a matter of great debate in India, and Switzerland has been long perceived as one of the safest havens for the illicit wealth stashed abroad by Indians. Darjeeling remains on the boil as the violence continues unabated for the 6th consecutive day in the hills. Home Minister Rajnath Singh reviewed the security situation of Darjeeling in a meeting last night. The Union Home Ministry has put on hold sending 400 additional personnel to Darjeeling to help restore normalcy, as the state government has not yet submitted its report on the situation. The meeting came a day after a team of the BJP and the Gorkha Janmukti Morcha met the Home Minister seeking the centre's intervention. Meanwhile, the West Bengal government on Friday rushed 7 senior police officers to Darjeeling to help restore the law and order situation. Gorkha Janmukti Morcha Chief Bimal Gurung has asked people to be prepared for the final battle for achieving the separate Gorkha land state. The ongoing agitation in the hills has forced thousands of tourists to leave. Markets remained closed for the 5th consecutive day, leading to a serious shortage of food and other commodities. Kerala's prestigious Kochi Metro is all set for the commercial operations, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurating it today. Claimed to be the country's first integrated multimodal transport system, it is expected to improve regional connectivity and ease the traffic congestion in Kochi, the commercial hub of Kerala. President Pranab Mukherjee will also inaugurate the first phase of Green Line of Nama Metro in Bengaluru. BJP formally began negotiations for presidential candidates after top leaders Venkaiah Naidu and Rajnath Singh met Sonia Gandhi and Sitaram Yechuri. The leaders, however, did not discuss any probable names for the post.
Between the government and the opposition on a consensus candidate for the president's post ended inconclusively on Friday. Union Ministers Rajnath Singh and Venkaiah Naidu met Congress President Sonia Gandhi briefly at her residence but discussed no names. Later, they also met CPIM General Secretary Sitaram Yechuri, who said the opposition parties will support a candidate with impeccable secular credentials.
व्यक्ति पर तो कोई चर्चा हुई नहीं। हम अपेक्षा करते थे कि रूलिंग पार्टी विपक्ष के नेताओं से कोई एक नाम करेगी या 2-3 नाम करेगी, 3-4 नाम करेगी और उस नाम पे सहमति बनाने की कोशिश करेंगे, प्रयास करेंगे। तो ऐसा तो सरकार ने कहा कि अभी हमारे पास कोई नाम नहीं है, क्योंकि उन्होंने अपनी पार्टी में ही अभी उसके निर्णय नहीं लिया है। तो जब उन्होंने अपनी पार्टी में ही नहीं इसके बारे में कोई निर्णय नहीं लिया है, तो विपक्ष के साथ शेयर करने को कोई सवाल पैदा नहीं होता है।
वो आए, हमने कहा कोई आपसे पूछा जरूर, आपने कहा कोई है आपके पास जो प्रपोजल, तो कहा कोई अभी तक किसी नाम पे हम जो है तय नहीं किए। तो अगर खुद नाम नहीं तय किए हैं तो हम किससे सपोर्ट करें?
Venkaiah Naidu also spoke with NCP chief Sharad Pawar and BJP ally Chandrababu Naidu on Thursday. While Chandrababu Naidu said he will support Narendra Modi's decision on the presidential nominee, Pawar offered no such assurance. 9 opposition parties, including the Congress, Left, NCP, SP, BSP, JDU and RJD, have maintained they will finalize their stand only after the BJP-led NDA discloses its candidate. The opposition has also made it clear that they will put up a joint candidate if the BJP fails to nominate a non-RSS candidate.
We in the opposition want consensus for President of India. That would be good for the country. Let us see what the government does. It will depend on government of the day, what Prime Minister Modi and his team decides.
अभी तक कोई नाम तो ओपन किया नहीं, तो कंसेंसस कैसे बनेगी? हम सब ने एक शर्त रखी कि नॉन आरएसएस आप कैंडिडेट्स लाइए, जो पूरी कंट्री को स्वीकार हो, तो हम कंसेंसस पे विचार कर सकते हैं।
Earlier this week, BJP President Amit Shah constituted a 3-member committee to consult political parties, including the opposition, to select a consensus candidate for the presidential polls. So far, the committee has reached out to the Congress, BSP, NCP, TDP, CPM and the All India NR Congress. Friday's meeting came 2 days after a subgroup of opposition leaders constituted by Sonia Gandhi met to discuss the opposition strategy. Pranav Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
A special Tata court convicted 6 out of 7 accused in the 1993 Mumbai serial blast that killed 257 people and left 713 seriously injured. Key accused Mustafa Dosa and Abu Salem were convicted under charges of conspiracy and terror activities in the case. Meanwhile, the court has set the next hearing date on June 19th to decide dates for arguments on the quantum of sentence.
24 years after 12 blasts rocked Mumbai, a special Terrorism and Disruptive Activities Prevention Act court held 6 out of the 7 accused guilty in the 1993 serial blast case. Mastermind Mustafa Dosa was convicted on charges of conspiracy and murder. Extradited gangster Abu Salem was found guilty of transporting weapons from Gujarat to Mumbai. Others who were convicted include Firoz Abdul Rashid Khan, Tahir Merchant, Riyaz Siddiqui and Karimullah Khan. However, Abdul Qayyum was acquitted of all charges. All accused were acquitted of the charge of waging war against the nation.
93 बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट में सेकंड पार्ट का जो जजमेंट दिया है उसमें कन्विक्शन 6 लोगों को दिया है, जहां पे 7 लोग एक्यूज थे, उसमें से 6 लोगों को कन्विक्शन किया है, आउट ऑफ विच 5 लोगों को सेक्शन 120 बी यानी कंस्पायरेसी के अंडर कन्विक्शन हुई है और एक को 3-3 टाड़ा के मुताबिक कन्विक्शन हुई है और एक अक्यूज को जो कयूम करके है उसको एक्विट कर दिया है। वजह ये थी कि जो बाबरी मस्जिद डिमोलिशन हुआ था उसका रिवेंज लेने के लिए ये सारा कंस्पायरेसी हैच की गई थी।
Meanwhile, the Tada court also acquitted Abu Salem of some initial charges. The 7 accused formed the second set in the blast case as they were arrested between 2003 and 2010. The Tada court convicted 100 people in the first leg of the trial in 2007, while 23 people were acquitted.
सेंटेंस टू बी डेथ, ये हम लोग को सुनना था और मुझे मालूम है, मुझे खातरी है कि यही हुआ है एंड डेफिनेटली जो भी रिजल्ट आज आया है वी आर वेरी पॉजिटिव. वी रिस्पेक्ट टाडा कोर्ट, वी रिस्पेक्ट सुप्रीम कोर्ट. द डिसीजंस आर फेवर टू अस. दैट इज अ वेरी बिग पॉजिटिव थिंग.
The Mumbai blast killed 257 people and seriously injured 713 others on March 12, 1993. It was the first ever terrorist attack in the world where RDX was used on such a large scale after the Second World War. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Let's take a look at all the other national developments and nationwide. The Kashmir Traders and Manufacturers Federation has given a call for a strike today. They are protesting against the implementation of GST in the state. The DMK staged a walkout for the third consecutive day on Friday from the State Assembly over the issue of alleged horse trading of AIADMK MLAs. The leader of opposition, M.K. Stalin, led the walkout after he and the deputy DMK leader in the House argued with Speaker P. Dhanapal over the issue. Heavy rains lashed parts of northern India, bringing much-needed respite from the blistering heat. Shimla received heavy rainfall, bringing down temperatures by a few notches. Meanwhile, heavy showers also lashed Lucknow city, bringing respite from soaring temperatures. As per the Indian Meteorological Department, India is likely to receive higher monsoon rainfall as concern over the El Nino weather condition has eased. And with that, we'll slip into a very short break. More news and updates on the other side. Stay with us.
In our country, recycle or reuse of water is very less. There is a lot of possibility of recycling of water in domestic sector as well as in industrial sector. The estimates show that about 15% of our food production today is based on groundwater which is being mined.
What Eureka with Dr. Sharat Kumar Jain, Senior Scientist, National Institute of Hydrology at Roorkee, only on Rajya Sabha television. Gyan Chopper is the ancient version of Indian snakes and ladders. This intriguing game was popular among the old, the young, and the rulers as well. The chopper has its origin in the Jain philosophy. It tells the story of virtue, symbolized by the ladders, rewarded, while the vices shown by the snakes are punished. Each square, in turn, also narrates some message of wisdom. Shifting our focus on the international front, Donald Trump has announced a partial rollback of his predecessor's rapprochement with Cuba, tightening travel and trade rules with the Caribbean nation. However, Obama policy on Cuba will be revised rather than overturned entirely. Diplomatic relations will remain in place and commercial air and sea links will be exempted from the new restrictions.
Immediately, I am canceling the last administration's completely one-sided deal with Cuba.
US President Donald Trump continuing to chip away at Obama's legacy, rolling back the previous administration's what he called a completely one-sided deal with Cuba. Speaking in Miami, Florida, Trump said the Obama administration's March 2016 deal with the brutal Castro government was terrible and misguided.
They made a deal with a government that spreads violence and instability in the region, and nothing they got. Think of it, nothing they got. They fought for everything, and we just didn't fight hard enough. But now, those days are over. Now we hold the cards. We now hold the cards. The previous administration's easing of restrictions on travel and trade does not help the Cuban people. They only enrich the Cuban regime.
Trump says that his administration seeks to prevent US dollars from being used to fund what it regards as a repressive military-dominated government. The new policy would tighten rules affecting travel and on sending funds to the Caribbean island nation. However, key diplomatic and commercial ties will remain intact and the US Embassy in Havana will not close. Commercial flights from the US will also continue, as will allowing Americans to return home with Cuban goods.
Our embassy remains open in the hope that our countries can forge a much stronger and better path. America believes that free, independent, and sovereign nations are the best vehicle for human happiness, for health, for education, for safety, for everything.
It is noteworthy that then US President Barack Obama had announced in 2014 that the United Nations would re-establish diplomatic relations and reopen the American embassy in Havana, which was closed in 1961 following the Cuban Revolution. The announcement led Obama to visit Cuba in 2016, making him the first sitting president to visit the island in more than 50 years. The move allowed for more Americans to travel to Cuba. Analysts say Trump's frostier approach to US-Cuba relations will do more harm than good for residents of the Caribbean island.
So a country that already is suffering, a lot of people, young people especially, are leaving. Others want to go. This is going to further dim the prospects because it will strengthen the hand of those who are opposed to reform and opening up the economy and bringing in foreign investment. Because this is a very, very big blow, this message coming from the Trump administration at this point.
Trump has moved to dismantle several of Obama's policies. He cancelled the Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Deal, announced withdrawal from the Paris Climate Accord, and is attempting to repeal and replace Obamacare, his predecessor's signature policy accomplishment. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And news from London, where fury over Grenfell Tower fire disaster spilled onto the streets on Friday. Protesters were held in London as residents demanded support for those affected by the huge blaze. This comes as the death toll rose to at least 30. Several people stormed Kensington and Chelsea Town Hall, demanding help for those who were rendered homeless due to the fire. Hundreds of mourners stood arm in arm at the vigil and held a 2-minute silence for the victims of the fire. Crowds gathered outside a hall where Prime Minister Theresa May met survivors, and protests were also held at Downing Street. May had faced criticism for not meeting with survivors in the immediate aftermath. She sanctioned €5 million for clothes, food and emergency supplies. Meanwhile, emergency services spent a third day searching for bodies in the burnt-out Grenfell Tower in North Kensington. Despite that, close to 70 people are still missing. The fire broke out on Wednesday, tearing through all floors of the building, and took more than 200 firefighters 24 hours to bring it under control.
Now, the government is making £5 million available for those emergency funds for people who need just to get money to be able to buy the normal things of everyday life. This morning I was in one of the hospitals meeting some of the victims there, and one of the women said to me, basically she ran out of this Grenfell Tower basically with a t-shirt and a pair of knickers. She has nothing. That's why the government is putting that funding in. There are other things we'll do as well to provide support for people to ensure they're rehoused within 3 weeks.
Let's have a look at all the other international developments in World Wrap. US President Donald Trump confirmed on Friday that he was under investigation for obstruction of justice by firing FBI Director James Comey. He also appeared to take aim at a senior Justice Department official in a tweet that seemed to encapsulate his frustration with the ongoing focus on Russia's involvement in the 2016 elections. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on Friday said that Russia does not have 100% confirmation that Islamic State leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi was killed. Russia's defense ministry says that it was checking the information that a Russian airstrike near the Syrian city of Raqqa killed Baghdadi. Helmut Kohl, Germany's ex-chancellor and architect of reunification in 1990, died at the age of 87. Kohl led Germany for 16 years from 1982 to 1998. He is credited with bringing East and West Germany together after the fall of the Berlin Wall. Chancellor Angela Merkel condoled Kohl's demise. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also condoled his death and said that India values his contributions in strengthening Indo-German ties. In sports news, Indian shuttlers Kidambi Srikanth and HS Prannoy entered semi-finals of the men's singles in Indonesian Open Super Series badminton tournament on Friday. Prannoy continued his giant killing spree to stun world and Olympic champion Chen Long of China to enter the last four. The world number 25 Prannoy, who defeated world number 1 Li Zhongwei in last match, overcame his Chinese opponent 21-18, 16-21, 21-19 in a hard-fought quarter-final encounter. He will take on the winner of the match between Japanese qualifier Kazumasa Sakai and England's Rajya in the semi-finals. Srikanth, meanwhile, had an easy quarter-final match as he defeated Zhu Wei-Wang of Chinese Taipei 21-15, 21-14 in just 37 minutes. He will next face South Korea's second seed Son Wan-ho. Women's shuttlers PV Sindhu and Saina Nehwal have already crashed out of the tournament after losing their respective women's singles second round encounters. And that's all we have for you in this edition of Breakfast News. Keep watching Rajya Sabha television.